Alright, so this is version 1 of the cardboard mock-up of the Skunkmobile, which you can just see in the background over there. And this has been really useful just in, as you can see, this basically comes off and connects onto this just quickly like that. And the reason being is that because this is version 1, I'm not necessarily going all the way with this particular model and putting the fur on top, but it's going to be really useful when I have all the fur to use this as a sort of mock-up so that I understand it. But for me, this is just about comparing the proportions and seeing whether everything fits. There's one thing that I've done already which I'm just wanting to play around with, which is this opening mechanism. So as you see there, it just narrowly misses Bo's head. And I took a bit of time just actually making like a little seat for her, just so I sort of almost had a proportion so that she didn't end up covered in glue by the end of it. But it gave me the sort of sweep for all the mechanisms going over. And as you can see, it means that there's these bulkheads that remain stationary. And I'm hoping that even though the fur will just overlap and sit over there, hopefully it won't blow in the wind and expose, but this isn't going to go that fast. But the reason I think this could be easier than the authentic Toy Story one is just I'm imagining that, you know, my son is going to crash this a lot and it's going to create a lot of force, and that's a lot to transmit into just one hinge. I think it's just going to shear no matter how beefy the hinge is, or it'll just buckle the whole assembly one way. So I'm thinking that by mounting the main impact here, it's going to help. But still give all the sort of fun of being able to chuck Bo and Woody in anyway. So it's just one of those things where it just takes a bit of time to work through everything. But as you can see, I'm quite happy with the mechanism here, and it means that I can drape the fur over that section and then fix all this stuff in permanently. So that's the idea. It's still very much work in progress. I might go back on what I said and I might just make the whole thing hinge, but you can appreciate even having this big tail up here, it means you're either going to have a very strong catch to make sure that these things really click down really solidly so that they don't just pop off. But I'm also struggling to think how my 4-year-old can, you know, actuate something which is so mechanically strong but also easy for him to unlatch. So I kind of think that, you know, what's good about this, even if it's boinging along, it doesn't really matter if it comes loose. If anything, I think just the friction of the fur will probably keep it down and in place. So I am thinking this is probably just a more sensible way to go. But yeah, lots of things to consider. But there you go, version 1.0, the Bo Peep Skunkmobile.